welcome to Crafting on the Plains. My name is Jacintha, and this is my channel about counted cross stitch and also sometimes knitting, sewing, sometimes paper crafting, whatever crafty rabbit holes that I happen to be getting up to. And I just want to say a big thank you for joining me and welcome if you're a new viewer. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer. I have a few projects to share with you this week or this couple weeks, and I hope that you enjoy. So I'm going to just jump right into it. I don't have as many projects as I normally have. I think the last couple weeks have been really busy. If you are not familiar with my channel or you haven't seen me before, or you haven't heard me mention it, I am a college professor, and so this week was the first week of school, which means that the last couple weeks have been very busy with getting set up for classes, and then this week I have been doing my actual classes. Sorry, I'm trying a new mic setup and I'm getting a little bit it's looking a little bit weird. So I've had class setup stuff this week, and I also think that if you watched my last video, I talked about how I had done the Stitch the Summer Olympics challenge, which was so much fun, but I challenged myself to stitch something different every single day, and that's not normally how I stitch. And so I very much kind of slipped back into not completely monogamous, but I was just focusing on a couple different projects this last couple weeks because I think that stitching a new thing every day was a little bit challenging for me. So I've got a couple of projects, I've got a new start, I've got a giveaway, I've got some knitting, and I have also some paper crafting. So that's exciting. Okay, I'm going to start with my new start actually. So this is one that I had been planning to start, and it is out of the book, and I'm stitching 2 projects out of this. I'm going to be doing a lot of projects out of this book this autumn, and that is Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Designs. So I bought this book last year, and it's one that I had my eye on for a really long time, and I love this, all the patterns pretty much in this book. I want to stitch them all. So the one that I had planned on starting, actually just this summer, I kitted up several of these patterns. That way I would have them ready to go for this autumn season. So I knew that I wanted to start something for my daughter's first day of school. She started kindergarten this week, and it's been a little bit emotional. She also stopped going to she had like a daycare, and then they did after school program for pre-K. And so that was her like last days as well. So that was really hard to have that kind of come to an end, and then kindergarten and everything. So anyway, so I knew I wanted to start something new for her first day of school. And I actually did not start this on her first day of school. I started it like the day after, just because her first day of school was also the first day that I had to be back on campus getting things ready. So I didn't start on her actual first day of school. But I am stitching first Winds of Autumn, and it is this chart. It is the one that I think a lot of people bought this book for, including myself. I love this strawberry. So it is a strawberry, or you can stitch it. I've seen a lot of people just stitch it flat and frame it. I mean, obviously you stitch it flat, but they've framed it flat and they haven't turned it into strawberry. I saw someone else made a drum out of it as well, which I thought was creative. But so this is the piece, and I think there's another photo. Yeah, that's going to show chart. Okay. Cover it up. But that shows you a little bit different side of it as well. So it's really pretty, and I started this. I may have made a small mistake. There's a couple things I regret about this, but I'm gonna plug through because I'm still enjoying it. So my mistake was that I was sort of stressed out when I started this. I really wanted to just start something and work on it and just have a good time, and I had a hard time identifying the center of the chart. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just start at the bottom. And I love starting at bottom center. That's one of my favorite places to start. Bottom center or top center is usually my favorite place to start. So I started at the bottom center. Then I read the directions, so this is entirely my fault. I read the directions which said that when you start this chart, if you want to turn it into the strawberry, that you should start it in the center to make sure that you can center the strawberry template on your finished piece. So I didn't do that. Now, so my bottom margin is it's still in the hoop because I've been working on this so much. It's a little tight. I sort of laid it out over the strawberry template that's provided because I'm stitching this on a 36 count, just like the book recommends. That way it would fit on the template. And I think I will be okay. I think. It might be that if you can see on the book or on the picture, it might be that my pattern is a little bit further down than this one. So you can see here how there's quite a bit of space, where it is at the bottom, and then some of this is like gathered and some of the leaves cover up the design. It might be that mine is a little bit lower, which is actually okay with me because I wouldn't mind it if more of it's showing and it doesn't get like interfered with the gathering and the leaves. So that's okay. I also thought worst case scenario, if it's really not looking right, I can sew a strip of some like pumpkin color, like some fall themed kind of primitive style quilting fabric at the bottom. And then that'll just be an additional little element at the bottom of my strawberry. Not per pattern, but I think it'll be cute. So I'm going to make it work. I had stitched, like I had outlined this whole, the whole bird bottom when I realized that I started in the wrong place and I'd started filling in and I just thought, no, I'm not pulling it out. I will make it work. It'll be fine. The other thing it's showing it better on here, but the called for color is Weeks Molasses. But when you look at the picture of the actual, it looks more black. It looks more black or charcoal. And the floss is a lot browner. So let me see if I can find molasses. Okay, right here. So the floss is a lot more brown. There are parts of it that are dark, like the color that the bird shows. So I don't know if I just got a weird skein of molasses where it's a little bit lighter than, I don't know. I showed it to my husband because I was a little bit panicking, and he said just keep going because he said when it's filled in it'll look darker. And I have to say that he is right. It does look darker now that I filled it in, and I'm not doing it yet, but I may eventually, especially for the head and like the fill in of this wing, I may specifically like fussy cut to try to get those darker parts of molasses. And that way this bird looks more like a charcoal color than this like oak brown. But I still like it. I do kind of wish that I had subbed out the bird, but not enough to pull it out. So quite happy. I started this last Friday. So I've been stitching on this for a little bit under a week, and I have been majority stitching on this, and I stitched on this during a Zoom call with some of my friends. And so I had a really great time, got a lot of fill in done on this during that Zoom call. So out of this book, I have another whip. This is one I started back in July, and it is Nebraska Prairie, and it looks like this. So it's a drum. I'm really into dimensional finishes. I'm trying to see if I can find one. Okay. This shows you what the whole piece looks like laid out. So you could finish it square as well. I'm gonna just drop things. So this is where I am. Oh, I am so bad at telling you things. This right here, First Winds of Autumn, is stitched. It's stitched with all the called for floss. It is stitched on a 36 count Picture This Plus in the color Sand. And I'm actually stitching it one strand over two. That is unusual for me. I am very much a 2/2 on 36 count stitcher, and I'm stitching 2 projects right now. Actually, I'm stitching 3 projects right now, but I'm going to show you 2 projects right now that are 36 count 1/2. So that's very strange for me. And I like it actually. I like it. I can't remember why I decided to. I think because I know that 36 or Picture This Plus is tight. So yeah, Picture This Plus sand 1/2 on 36. This one I'm stitching on a 36 count. It is Fiber on a Whim wheat, and I'm also stitching 1/2 because this Fiber on a Whim wheat at least is quite densely woven. I think it has also shrunk a little bit. So this is where I am on this one. And I finished the main parts of the house and I'm working my way across. I'm really enjoying this. I'm using up this little scrap. I will tell you on this pattern, Nebraska Prairie, there is a correction. So what is charted in the book is not correct. There's a whole nother floss that you have to get. So if you are kitting up this project, check out the correction. I will see if I can find where I found the correction and I will link it below because there is another floss. Fortunately, like I said, I kitted up like 3 projects from this book all at one time, and a lot of the patterns use the same color palette. So I had it kitted up from kitting up something else. Actually, I think it was this one. And so it ended up being fine. So it didn't matter. But there's a whole other floss that you need. And it is, I think it's chickpea, and it is the, this star up here. And then it's also going to be in the windows of the house. And also there's like some weird missing stitches that aren't charted on, I don't know, it's really strange. I also noticed that both the originally charted pattern as well as the errata, the correction, does not look exactly like the model that's stitched. So I'm kind of just making up my own thing and kind of blending what I see on the model and then what's in the corrected chart and whatever I want to do. It's fine. It's a sampler style, so it's not a huge deal, but just so you know, there is a correction on this chart. So make sure that you check that out if you're going to stitch it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk about one plan that I have upcoming just because I already have this book out. So the next thing, maybe not the next thing I'm going to start, but one of the next things I'm going to start is I also have kitted up. Gotta find it. I should have tabbed these. This piece right here, it's called October 31st, aptly named, and it is this drum. And it just says October 31st. It's all done in like a black or like a charcoal color. You could do it whatever color you wanted, but I love this piece and I'm really into drums. I'm really into dimensional finishes. So I'm excited to do it. I have some floss for it already, and I don't know what fabric I'm gonna use, but I'm sure I have something in my stash I can use this with. And so that is probably once I finish up Nebraska Prairie, I'll go ahead and start October 31st. I don't want to have all 3 of them on the go at once. So that is all of my Blackbird stuff. I worked on one other cross stitch this couple weeks, and that is a piece that y'all have not seen in a little bit, and it is my Hedgehog and Fox by the Blue Flower. This was a market release this past year, and here it is. I am doing a conversion because I could not get my hands on the Cottage Garden threads. So if you're interested in my conversion, let me know. I will post it on my Instagram once I'm finished, but so far this is what I've got. And I just knew that this piece is small and it wasn't super far from a finish. So I wanted to get it out and work on it. So I have the whole hyacinth stalk and like everything done. And then I've started work on the little cute hedgehogs. So I'm outlining the hedgehog body and then I'll go in and do them. So this is kind of when I'm working at home and I take a lunch break and I just like spend a few minutes eating and then like watch a show. And I like, when I'm done eating, work on this. That's kind of what I've been doing with this one. And this is on, so bad at this. This is on a 36 count Fox and Rabbit oyster shell, 36 count. I love this fabric. And this one is being stitched 2/2, which is how I usually do it. I love the coverage. I love it. It's so full. Not everyone likes really tight coverage like this, but I love it. But I am beginning to appreciate the 1/2 for certain types of projects. I wouldn't want to do 1/2 on this type because this is, I feel like the style of this lends itself to really full coverage stitching. Maybe that's a personal preference, but anyway. My other plan that I have is I really want to start Autumn Harvest Collection Mill Hill to Go. It's this one. It's a little coffee cup. Today is PSL Day. I'm so excited. This is one of my weird obsessions. I love pumpkin spice. I actually don't get pumpkin spice lattes that much anymore because they're a lot. That's a lot of sugar and they're a little bit too sweet for me now. I used to love them, but I like to kind of just like add the pumpkin syrup into my stuff at Starbucks. I know that sometimes they have it year round. It's just not the same. PSL Day is a special day in my household. So, I'm not going to start it today because I have another Mill Hill on the go that I want to finish. I just need to finish up the beading, but I do want to do this one really soon. I'd love to stitch this before autumn is finished. So maybe I will get a wiggle on working on my other Mill Hill so that I can start to go. That is all of the stitching. That's it. That's all I worked on. So I do have a giveaway. Last week I was giving away my copy of We Santa 2022 as well as my leftover beads, which there are plenty of beads to complete a second version of the project. I'm trying to pass along a stash if the stash is in good quality and is worth being passed along, just because, you know, y'all are my friends and I want to share with you. So the winner, I just pulled a random comment picker here right before I started this video, and the winner is, let me zoom in so I can actually see, Zandy Ziegler 2297. So I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think it's Zandy Ziegler 2297, and I will put your handle down below, and that way you can, and Zandy said that they like stitching fall, so I do as well, but I do love Christmas. So this one is for you. If you will contact me, my email, my Instagram are below. You can DM me on Instagram. You can email me at my Gmail account and just let me know, and I'm happy to get this shipped off to you. So thank you everyone who played along and who commented and who gave me lots of inspiration for seasonal stitching. Okay, so that's all the stitching. If that's all you came for, I really appreciate it. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of knitting and a little bit of paper crafting, which I haven't shown you in a while. So, this is where my knitting is. This is Little Miss Rainbow. This I showed last time as a new start. This is a cardigan that I'm working on for my daughter for her birthday. She'll be 6 in October. And this is pretty much my only knitting project. I have been craving sock knitting. I don't know what it is, but I went through a huge sock knitting slump. I was obsessed with sock knitting for years and years and years. For a really long time, knitting was my primary hobby. I did not cross stitch. Once I got into cross stitch, I kind of took more into cross stitch and less into knitting. But even after I had started cross stitching, I was a big sock knitter. And I don't know, the last 2 years, I want to say, I've just not been motivated to work on socks. And the last, I would say, month, I've been just thinking about, I want to cast on some socks. I want to knit some socks. But I'm not letting myself knit anything until I get some really, really good progress on this, because it is for my daughter's birthday and she very inconveniently gets bigger every year. And so it takes longer to make her sweaters. So this is where we are with it. It's kind of flopping open because it's a cardigan. So I'm going to try to show you the best I can. So here's the cardigan. And I did split for the sleeves. So the sleeves are on some scrap yarn. And then I've started knitting down the body. And this has a cute little pocket. It's called the treasure pocket, which is so much fun. So she can collect little treasures and put them in her little pocket. But I was like trying to read and understand the pocket instructions, and I'm not sure I get it 100%. So that'll be an adventure. We'll see how I do. I've done pockets before, but it's been a while. So here's I was going to say, I think the back might be easier for you to see, but maybe not. But there's the rainbow. So she picked this out, and I will link below the Ravelry page for this cardigan in case you're interested in it. It does come in a lot of kid sizes. And I am using Knit Picks Mighty Stitch worsted weight in a variety of colors. I'm not going to list all my colors. I don't even have them here with me, but it's Knit Picks Mighty Stitch. And I know that the main color is blush. And I am using size 8 ChiaoGoo red lace fixed circulars, which I say every time I talk about my knitting are my favorite knitting needles. So that's my daughter's sweater. And that's a lot of yarn all over the floor. I am hoping that I will have some opportunities to work on this, maybe like in the car, something like that, coming up sometime before her birthday, because I need to get moving on that. So that's all my knitting, actually. Like I said, I really want to do some socks, so maybe I'll be casting on some socks here in the next, I'm not going to say before my next video, because I still need to be working on that cardigan, and I'm enjoying working on the cardigan. It's not like I'm forcing myself to. It's just that I'm a little bit afraid that if I start the socks, that I'm going to only want to work on the socks, and that's no good. So that's all my knitting. I'm going to show you some paper crafting. So if you're not into that, I completely understand, but I have been doing just a little bit of that. And since I didn't have much to share as far as cross stitch and knitting, I thought I'd pull it out. So I mentioned in one of my recent videos that I have been doing some paper crafting. Sorry about the crinkles. I also mentioned that I started an Etsy store for some printables, just because I started playing around with designing some printables and I was having so much fun, and I thought, you know, whatever, I'll put these up on Etsy and I'll see if anybody else wants them. So I'm going to show you kind of what I've got. So I'll link my Etsy below in case you are interested, but I'll just show you what I've been working on. So this is a little mini journal thing using my printables and some old like invitation envelopes. So that's where we are. So here is this. So this is the front cover. And again, these are my printables. Kind of like a junk journal style. And I have 2 printable sets in my Etsy. And then I did these ones, which has got this page. And I'm just enjoying kind of collaging them, playing with the colors. Got some tags. I'll probably, I don't know, I'm not a big like writing journaler, but I thought it would be fun once I kind of get everything put together to maybe just like do a little collection of like quotes I like, things like that, just kind of write in some of these spaces like on the tags and stuff. I started working on, I think those are the only 2 pages I've completed. I also have this little envelope that you basically just print. It comes as a printable, you cut it out, and then you can store your cute little bits in there. I'm not doing this like as a promo specifically for my Etsy shop. This is just what I've been working on and enjoying. And if anyone happens to like to do junk journaling, like to use printables, then that's great too. But yeah, I did this. I made this little envelope folder basically just by, I coffee dyed the envelopes so you can see that they're really pretty coffee dyed. And that was fun. I at least haven't done it in a while. And then I glued the different like envelopes together so that it would be a little folio or like book thing. So I have some flaps, and then it also means that I have all these like cool pockets that I can stick stuff in. So that's really fun. And I ended up with some extra envelopes because I dyed more than I knew I was going to need. So I'll do something with those. And yeah, here's like what my printables look like. I'm pretty proud of them. This one is all thistle themed, or kind of like thistle garden. As you can see, I've already started cutting them out. But you get a lot of little stuff in here, and it's been nice to play with. I get mine printed at Staples because I don't trust my home printer for this kind of thing. And yeah, it's just been nice. Like, even if I don't end up specifically like selling a lot of my printables, it's just nice. I wanted to make them really for myself, and then I kind of thought, well, I'll just put them up and see if anybody else is interested. So that's what I'm doing. It's just a fun little side project. It's nice to be creative in that way, to like design digital products and to do things with paper because it's just a little bit different. And also it's something like working on the digital products is nice because sometimes I just can't have, I want to be doing something creative, but I just can't have my stitching or my knitting out or whatever. And so I can just work on it, you know, like on my phone or whatever, a little bit, or work on it, you know, on my laptop and whatever. And it's just fun. So anyway, that is that. So this is a pretty short little episode. I just thought it'd be better to keep on my 2-week schedule rather than waiting another week and then end up being busy, whatever. So that is all I've got. Please let me know what you're working on. Please let me know what projects you have that you're excited to work on for this upcoming season. And I will see you in the next couple weeks, and I hope you get lots of crafting time in.